Hey guys, it is me, Stacy. Today I want to share with you my new paper cutter. This is the Fiskars Procision Rotary Trimmer. I paid $69.99 for this on Amazon.com. It is kind of pricey for a paper cutter, but I think over time it'll pay for itself because of this one part right here. This is the blade, and this actually has a rotary blade in it, which is a circular blade. And they claim on the box that this piece here is self-sharpening, so you never need to purchase another one of these. So it'll last pretty much, I guess, the lifetime of the cutter. So like I said, I think over time it'll pay for itself because you don't need to buy any more of those blades. Now it is a big cutter as far as the footprint. Left to right, you're looking at about 16 inches. And then top to bottom, about 19 or so. It does fold up, and you're able to use it when it's folded. So when it's folded up, it's 9 inches wide. So it's still, either way, still a pretty big unit. On the back of it, on the bottom of it, you have the big rubber feet here, little rubber feet here to kind of keep it in place. And again, this folds up, and you're able to hear it click in to lock. So you're able to, leave it like that or carry it and just put in a bag. So it makes it a little bit smaller, but even still, 9 inches is pretty big. Now there's a few things I like and don't like on it, but I just think it's a matter of getting used to it. I love the large platform here. It goes to 13 inches wide from all the way over. You have pretty large bumpers up here. I want to say they're probably a good 1/4 of an inch, if not higher, and they go all the way across here, also over here, and also down here at the bottom. You can also see up here at the very top, middle, and bottom, you have a ruler, and they all have centimeters and inches. So you have one here, one in the center, and then one down here at the bottom. And again, it's also over here on these sides as well. Not too big on the floral. I just find that to be distracting, but not, like I said, not a big deal. The one thing that I have to get used to is this part right here. It came with a little plastic piece. Hopefully you can see that there, like a little clear guard. This was not attached to the cutter. Which is not a big deal. You just kind of snap it in. But when you have the cutter piece here, down here, you can't lift this part up, because this part gets in the way. So this part has to stay down, and this cutter part, the rotary trimmer, has to be all the way at the top or the bottom to open this piece up freely. All right, let's go and do a few cuts. Now the cutting part, the rotary blade is all the way over here. Hopefully you can see that. You'll see here this steel piece of steel there, and on the right of that is where the blade would cut. I have a few pieces of cardstock. I just have a piece of Stampin' Up! Craft cardstock here, and it does cut really, really well. And you're able to, you can see me just kind of nudging this up. So you are able to cut with it right here, you just can't lift the plastic piece up while you're doing it. All right, now let's go ahead and cut just a sliver off this. Let me first make that cut, an even cut first. All right, now I'm just going to cut a smidgen off of it. Let's see how we do there. Yes, hopefully you can see this. When I cut just a small piece of it off, it tends to curl. That's how skinny that is. And this piece here is the Cricut poster board. Pretty thick material. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one as well. I'm just going to cut a sliver off this one. That's probably my favorite part. They're able to cut the smallest piece off. Do you see that? It kind of curls it up. So you can basically make your own curly paper. But a lot of times with a Project Life card, sometimes the tad bit too big, you just need to cut like just a smidgen off. If you're doing that in a regular paper trimmer, like this kind, with this kind of blade, oftentimes you're going to just tear that apart. So here you're able to get a clean cut every time you do it. So I'm going to go again ahead, do another one. I just think it's really, really cute. All right, let's go ahead and cut something else. So here I have, this is from Stampin' Up! I think this is their cotton paper or their tissue paper. It's a very, very thin material. And again, we're just going to see if we can just cut a smidgen off of this piece here. Yep, I did. Look at that. Every time I do that, I get impressed because look how skinny that is. Right? Super cute. All right, now let's go just cut a little bigger piece off. And every time you do it, it's a nice clean cut. There's no raw edges or frayed edges, nothing like that at all. All right, now let's go ahead and this is Stampin' Up! Designer Series paper. So it'll cut. On the box it says it cuts a variety of materials, and it also cuts thick materials. So let's go ahead and try cutting something thick. All right, here I have a cereal box board. I use that for my chipboard. We're first going to go ahead and cut a sliver off of it, see how that does. Yep, I did that with no problem. Let me bring in a piece of blue cardstock so you can see that. Okay, that was the cereal box cord. Oh, see, I find myself getting stuck on that. I do find it easier to pull toward me versus going up. If I go up, and it does cut fine, I just find it easier to pull toward me. All right, now let's go ahead and cut this piece, which is pretty thick, as well as the poster board. All right, we're gonna go, so this is pretty thick, these two pieces here. Let's go and see how we do. I want to make sure I got them both over here. Okay, hold that down and we're going to pull it toward us. Yep, I cut them both. I don't really see no indentations, no frayed edge. They're both still a pretty clean cut. So overall, like I said, it's cutting a variety of materials. It cuts them pretty thick. The one issue I have, which is not really an issue, I just think it's something you have to get used to. And I did watch a lot of reviews on YouTube prior to purchasing this, and everybody loved the cutter. They all thought it was well worth the price of it. But right here, if you cut a lot of 6-inch sizes, that 6 inch is not really readable. You can see the number 6 there, but that's not where the 6 is. There's really no clear marking for 6 inches. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take, this is a piece of Stampin' Up! Cardstock. I'm going to use my Stampin' Up! Trimmer. And the one reason I love this trimmer is because that 6-inch mark there. You didn't need to open up the arm to get to the 6 inches, but this one needs a new blade. We're just going to go ahead and cut this at 6 inches so we can kind of see where it is on that cutter here. Alright, set that aside. Alright, so I'm going to bring this in, and again, we know that's 6 inches wide. I'm going to line it up all the way over to the right hand side of that piece here. So if you see, and I'll take a picture of this and insert it in the video so you guys can see that. But this we know is exactly 6 inches. I'm perfectly lined up with the edge of my piece here. I'm not even reaching that 6-inch mark. So I really wish they would have figured out a way. I know the fold's right there, but I think they would have, I wish they would have figured out a way to mark the 6 inch, because that is a common cut, you know, 6 by 6. And if we look at it from the side, the lip part, hopefully you can see there's all this lip area here. So there would have been enough room to mark 6 inches. What I would do is maybe mark it yourself, you know, just kind of go in there, line it up, maybe take like a little black marker or something and make a little tick there so you can kind of see where 6 inches is. But I think over time, the more you cut 6 inches or just look at it, you'll figure out where it is. So I know where, I'm going to, again, just kind of see where that is. And we're going to cut this piece and see how far off I am with 6 inches. Let me turn it this way. All right, so I'm just going to eyeball it, kind of from going from what I just had layered on there. Okay, I think that might be close. Alright, so this one I know this one is 6 inches for sure. So I line them up. I'm actually pretty right on there. You know, so it's not horribly hard to get a 6-inch cut. Like I said, I think if you just kind of eyeball it, you know, the more you use it, you'll get used to it. But overall, I think it's a really good cutter. Like I said, 70 bucks is a lot of money for a paper trimmer, but over time, I think it'll pay for itself because, you know, if you consider just the Stampin' Up! Blades here, you can only get this blade here from StampinUp.com. And I believe they're $6 for a pack of 2. Then you got to pay shipping, and shipping is actually more than the blade itself. Shipping is $6.95. So right there, you're looking at 7 and 6. So you're looking at 13 bucks plus tax. So to get just a replacement for the Stampin' Up! Well, you're looking at maybe almost $15 for that. Kind of pricey. And the Cricut ones are more available. You can get them anywhere Cricut is sold, and of course the Cricut.com. And I want to say they're maybe $5 for a pack of 2, so they are of course a little bit cheaper. But again, you know, if you cut paper over and over again, the minute you cut something thick with this one, you're going to dull that blade out. You know, the minute you cut like a piece of cardboard or something, you're going to cut. I know it's just for paper, but even if you cut just their craft cardstock, it's going to dull the blade out really quick. So again, I think it's an investment piece, if not anything else. So I really do enjoy it. Any questions, guys, please let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, if you guys think it's worth it or not worth it, if I'm crazy for spending that much money. Even the hubby, when he seen it, he said, yeah, it's a good cutter because it's, you know, it's all steel here. The other thing I like about it as well, like even like with this kind of trimmer here, you have where your blade goes, you have, you know, this piece here, that where the blade goes, you're able to wiggle this back and forth, and that would cause you to get a wonky cut. This one here, you can't wiggle this. I mean, so you're guaranteed, every time you cut this, you are guaranteed a straight cut because you can't wiggle this back and forth. So I do love it's on 2 bars here. I know they make a smaller one that is like this. It also has the rotary trimmer. I believe on that one, I want to say maybe 25 bucks I think I seen it on Amazon for. And that one is not self-sharpening as far as I know. And that one you had to push down to use. This one you don't need to push down. You just kind of push, that way and that way. So I think it's also very easy to use as well. But yeah, leave me a comment. Let me know what trimmer you guys like. I know you can get this at Joann's. I want to say for maybe $120. But if it's not on sale, you can use a coupon and get it for close to 70 bucks. But anyway, guys, there's a trimmer. I enjoy it. As always, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.